While it is unclear whether immigration officials will attend the upcoming FIFA World Cup in 2026, those matches across the country, well, Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens has made it clear that he is not inviting them.
I can't predict what the federal government will attempt to do at 11 sites of World Cup matches across the United States. We hope that their presence will be small, unnoticeable, negligible, invisible, and maybe non-existent. But if that isn't the case, we will make sure we get as much heads up as possible so that the small businesses and large businesses, by the way, and citizens will get ample information from us about what to expect, how to maintain your own dignity and rights.